That was nice.
Welcome to the Best There Is podcast. As always, we are sponsored by Best There Is Games. Hopefully, people have been stopping by there because we've been trying to do social media, and hopefully, me linking Best There Is and the podcast and the YouTube and all the good fun things. You guys are coming down here, checking us out and liking us. And who are with me today? It's not a shocker, but go ahead and tell me who's with me today.
We got Declan
and Lucas.
Hello.
Declan and about put your names together.
That's our Super
Saiyan.
Deccan.
No, that's our
Decas.
fusion dance when we do our fusion dance. Decas or Lucan.
You could dance if you want.
Lucan's probably better. I think
I like Lucan.
Lucan's pretty good.
Lucan's a pretty good.
I'm gonna write that down for a future.
That's a good D&D. That's a good D&D
or dog name.
Just in general.
Lucan?
You know what? I'm going to put that on my gamer tag. Lucan.
It sucks. Like, me and my wife talked. We always thought Lucas would be a good name for another son, and then we met you, and you fucked it all up.
I'm sorry. So, do I disgrace that name?
Yeah. Well, it's just like there's no... It's just you don't want another person in your round.
If you were to name your kid Lucas, I would have zero problems with that, and I don't
Motherfucker, you wouldn't have a say.
But no, I'm just saying, but like, because I normally have issue with, because Lucas
you
is not that
couldn't be
common.
like, soon as I'm there about to fill out the paperwork, you're like, whoa.
Exactly. I would my whole
That's my name.
That is my name. But I don't know many Lucases. It is not that super common of a name.
Lucas is a common name.
Now it's a common name.
I'll tell you why. Crystal told me she liked the name, and I have probably about a handful of 8. There goes fucking Declan looking up how common it is. I have probably about 8 all-star superheroes that I follow and collect. And one of those is Carl Lucas, who ends up changing his name to Luke Cage. So I can't name my son really Luke because I feel Star Wars too much. Cage is trying way too hard. So to do it is Carl Lucas. And I thought Lucas would be cool because I like, I was going to say Iceman. I don't know why I say Iceman. Luke Cage, Power Man. But yeah, so I always like Lucas, but...
Okay.
Never Declan. Just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't know my name existed until I came into your life.
It's true.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear about it. I have the most unique name, hands down. It's not even close.
Yeah. I'm a fucking Muppet, so
yeah,
I'm pretty well known.
Sir, you're from Sesame Street?
Yeah.
Those are Muppets!
You know what's really dumb is being still like close to my 40s, people still do the, where's Bert? Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you think I've never heard that? Like,
dude,
so
I get, where's your father? I get
You're
fucking
not, dude,
Luke.
Your name's not Luke.
It doesn't matter, dude. Once they know my name's Lucas, they immediately go, Luke, I'm your father. Fuck you. Like, they legitimately do that all the fucking time.
L-U-C?
I guess maybe George Lucas. I can see a play on that.
Yeah.
But that'd be really dumb. Like, hey man, I hated all your movies. You're like, what? You're like, I'll make it a George Lucas joke.
Lucas is by far a more common last name than it is anything, which is crazy. But your name is the 1,036th most popular name given in the United States, with an estimated population of 32,930.
That's not that much
This name's in the 99th percentile. This means that nearly 0% of all of the first names are more popular.
It's weird because, like, me and Crystal dating before even kids were in the picture, we've talked about Logan. And I've always thought Logan was a strong, cool name. Of course, I like Wolverine. But around the time we named Logan, dude, it was like one of the most popular names, like during that year or so. So it was just nuts. It wasn't even like there was a Wolverine boom or anything.
Yeah, I was about to say, did like a Wolverine movie come out that year?
No, I don't think so. It's just
it's a cycle.
And it's funny because you're like, okay, who can I go down next? That's a kind of a cool name. And it's like, Deadpool, you really don't want to name your kid Wade. Wade to me doesn't sound cool. And then I always thought, to keep it in the same lines of superheroes, there's what's his name? His son's name. I'm drawing a blank.
Your name is officially more popular than his name.
My name is?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's 240th most popular name.
But Wolverine's son's Declan. I thought Dakin's such a badass name.
Dakin's a dumb name. You
that's a badass name.
Dakin, I mean, it makes sense for that universe.
It's a weird, stupid,
evil
superhero
son that Wolverine drowns.
But I'm not gonna lie. If I meet a kid named Dakin, I'm immediately thinking their parents are fucking a bunch of assholes, and that kid's gonna be a prick.
And my name,
same thing with me for Damien.
Yeah, and Declan.
My name's not even on the fucking database.
No.
Dude.
Hurtful. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Damien's like my favorite Robin, so I always
Damien
loved that. But it's kind of like Damien's always had that tie to horror movies and the devil.
Oh yeah, baby Damien.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So I always stirred away from that. But we're not here to talk all about
our names and ourselves.
Our names and stuff. Is everyone doing good?
No.
No?
No.
I'm all right. Tired.
I'm tired too.
Back to work again.
Like I said, I feel like all this is draining me. And now, every night, I'm trying to figure out new TikToks, and it's driving me nuts.
Hey, at least you're passionate about it.
Some are not as good as others, though, but it's like...
Why don't you tell everybody about your big boom?
We got one that's over 10,000, but then I go back to doing others that are like 200, one over 100 something. So who knows? I don't know. I'm trying to find the niche of what people are looking for. I want to try to go for like challenges and stuff like that. But
like those things that you see. Like, there's this one I see families do, like this dumb challenge where they got to fucking throw shit.
One of these times we'll do
like beer pong, or they got to see how much water they can drink as it's filling up in the fridge.
We got to do. That's weird. We got to do like
weird.
If they do a dance next one of these times, we're all gonna do it.
No, I'm not doing no dances.
No, you're gonna do it. I think
No.
it'd be hilarious.
I'm not gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
Don't be a party pooper.
I'm not
Come
a
in
party
our
pooper.
club.
No.
Join the fun.
I'm willing to participate in any social media besides TikTok.
Join the fun.
Be with us. Don't be a party pooper.
I refuse to sell my image to the Chinese government.
Dude,
Whoa.
it's already gone.
Yeah.
It's already gone. We are owned to China.
No.
Yeah, well, China owns everything.
Not everything.
They own us.
No, they don't.
We owe so much money to them.
We own more money to ourselves than anything else.
No, we
Yes.
don't.
Yes, we do.
We owe more to China.
No, Ernie, we own trillions.
Dude, you are
of shit.
so Oscar of the Office. Oh my
dude.
god. There's a whole episode.
So
where
what do you want me to say? You just can continue on incorrect? Like, dude, like this is basic
ahead,
knowledge
go
is
ahead.
that a majority of our debt is to ourselves. We're taking money from future generations essentially. Most of our trillions are putting IOUs in the Treasury Department. That's a big issue with the Treasury. That's why everybody's always arguing about whether we should restructure the dollar bill or not.
All right.
Yeah, look at that. Treasury commentary from Declan.
Just saying. But and other controversial political news.
Well, everything's being canceled, and I think
Attempting to cancel.
Well, Dr. Seuss is already canceled. but
We talked about Gina Carano too.
I'll get into. I know it just sucks because I was gonna get in Chrono today, and Declan was like, "Let's not cover it." Because
I'm kind of regretting that. I think I'm picking Dr. Seuss might have been more controversial.
I think it's good. I think it's a good thing, especially for me and Lucas.
I mean, we could touch on that
with
if you
me
really
and
want
Lucas
to.
having kids. I think it's a good thing to talk about with Dr. Seuss.
We could touch on the Gina Carano thing if you still
But the
want
first
to.
thing is that you brought to my attention. Did you hear Eminem's canceled? And as far as notes went, all I did was quote to you guys the article of how they think what was it, Generation Z is criticizing him, and basically they think he's horrible and blah 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 blah.
Well, this wasn't the only time.
And the only question I brought up to this is, why are we here? Because normally I have a list of questions down for each thing, and I said we're not going to cover much of this Eminem thing because Eminem has been around over
long time.
I want to say decades, to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely over decades. If you're going to cancel him during the time he should have been canceled. Like I told you earlier, like he's been killing his mom forever.
Damn, son, they got so many cooler names back in the day. So I looked up generation names because I was talking to him earlier about how I don't like Gen as like a label.
Names.
Sorry, but the old generation
Marshall
was the lost generation of 1914 is the first one. Then there's the interbellum generation. Then there's the greatest generation, and then there's the silent generation.
When's the greatest?
Hold on. What's the greatest generation?
Greatest generation 1910. First starts in 1910.
I don't think good things are going on in 1910.
And then 1924. The issue is they fought in the Great War. They fought World War II.
Okay. You know
They're
what?
considered the greatest generation because they produced some of the most the fruitful times in America's history, which was post. Well, they were born.
Mexicans and Native Americans fought in that.
Well, World War I?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that were born in America.
I told you I watched the John Leguizamo stand up again, and it's so good. So
the Aussies help us fight.
Made me actually appreciate my heritage a lot more. Anyways, I don't get, if you're gonna cancel someone, cancel them when it happens.
Yeah, because he has
Like that.
some raunchy stuff, and
I mean, he does raunchy stuff all the time.
But all the time. But
it's a gimmick. He knows
Yeah.
it. If you ever notice,
He's a provocateur.
They've gone on record saying that his first release is always the goofy song that gets people and people whatever. That's not going to be your favorite song. There's a million other songs. And I think for a lot of people that like music, I mean, I'm probably the biggest Eminem fan out of us because I'll go up to bat and everyone's always like, oh, I'm like, dude, sorry. I haven't heard that much good rap in my time with new rappers. I mean, I could go back to older, like KRS One. Like,
yeah, but nobody's trying to argue whether new rappers are better than Eminem. Though. But nobody's brought that argument
but
ever.
My thing is they're just trying to say he's done horrible things. But dude, like,
I mean, he says stuff.
He says things, but dude, he doesn't drop the N-word once. One of the whitest rappers I've seen so many white rappers drop it, or people that think they're white, or I'm not think they're white. They're white. They think they're like something else. Not once. He's been bleeped out from saying abortions. That's the biggest thing that he gets bleeped out for. Abortions or whatever, and that's it. He's never said the N-word, which blows my mind. Because you think, being a huge rap person, that you would eventually drop it or whatever. But anyways, I think, if anything, and I hate to be that guy, I think a lot of his music has helped more people than hurt people. Because there's a lot of good music out there that it spoke to me at times. And I know a lot of friends that are like, yeah, this shit's deep or whatever. And don't get me wrong, there is really stupid songs. Yeah. I mean, his first album that was on Interscope, I was in 7th grade. I got made fun of for having it because Hi My Name Is was on it, and that's all people knew. But when I listened to it, it's a pretty good CD. Nothing too deep.
Nah, but
Brain Damage was decent. Guilty Conscience was pretty cool. And then they had a couple songs are really strong about drugs, but I think he was heavy into drugs. But I think that's going along with someone's career. It's like he got clean and stuff. So we learn about that when you follow someone's career, and it probably helped people. I mean, I don't know, but regardless, I think this whole cancel thing, especially coming from younger people, we shouldn't be looking to cancel anybody. Leave it to these older dudes that are thinking it's bad. And some stuff I'll agree with and go, yeah, I mean.
But that's, you realize, though, that's like the internet generations, the people that's going around canceling everybody. So inevitably, those people who are most savvy with it, which are the younger generations,
I mean,
are going to be the most active about
who's canceling Aunt Jemima? Like,
dude, they canceled Aunt Jemima. They canceled the Mr. Potato Head. Well, not canceled.
The Mr. Potato Head thing, it's funny that's a thing. I really don't care with that one. That one kind of does seem stupid because it's
a toy.
Also,
it's a potato. It doesn't have a gender.
He literally was just.
But they're calling him Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Now it's just Potato Head.
Yeah, but you draw more attention to the.
But as a father, I could give two shits what my kid plays with.
Yeah.
My kid could play with Barbies for all I care. I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, like, again, let's go the Aunt Jemima thing. I get it. That a little bit more because it does look like Slave or Uncle Ben or whatever. If you want to change it, you think it's going to help things, that's fine. If you don't, whatever. But when I buy it, I'm not thinking about slavery.
I'm thinking about syrup.
Yeah. But again, I can understand if there's someone that's African American and they feel offended by it. But at the same time, it should have been fought for a long time ago, I feel like. They should have been upset about it a while ago.
Yeah, they're just trying to find things to bitch about and to...
But
it's probably trying to find a reason to explain why their life is so shit or they feel so shitty.
If it happens, if it happens in the moment, in this right time, and we cancel them, I think it's fine because I said that's holding accountability. I think using the word cancel is cancel culture. Same as defunding the police. I think that's a bad way to put it. I think we need a better way to explain things because people think that meant just get rid of police everywhere, and it never meant that. So with cancel culture, I think we need to explain it a little bit better, and it's just holding responsibility. Same with the Gina Carano thing and all that. It's just she's going off on something that's right now. No one's digging through her tweets and pulling up old shit, and that's not fair because people change.
Yeah.
Now, if she's saying it now, she's like, you know what, I feel bad, blah blah blah. She doesn't. She's just on with Ben Shapiro and doing her own thing. You know, she's sticking to it, whatever. You know, respect, sticking to her guns. But at the same time, that's not going to work with the House of Mouse, and that's not going to work with your agency and stuff like that. And that brings us into us going to talk about Dr. Seuss because it's a huge pop culture thing. He's an icon.
I mean, growing up,
I mean, who does? No one.
There's not a single person who has not read Dr. Seuss.
Well, and that's how you
Dr.
teach
Seuss.
kids, and that's how you. I mean, we're
That's how
going
you
from
teach
one
kids about the follies of nuclear warfare.
We're going from one rapper to another rapper.
I mean, the movie The Lorax is a really good movie.
But see, what you have
the
to
book is about deforestation. It's
Yes.
like it has an
But what you
important,
have to understand,
very liberal message. It's weird that some people are just.
but I can understand his older stuff.
the
which is
older stuff
problem.
is the whole problem.
I mean, it's like, what's his name? Walt Disney.
Right.
Back in the day.
I mean, dude, the early
Yeah, why don't we
Disney-
cancel Disney?
dude,
WandaVision.
Because they cancel us.
they're too powerful now. No one can bring them down. You gotta bring
but
down
I think
other
Besides
older,
the pack-
older stuff they do
that's
take
crazy.
down though. Look, they're getting rid of
the crows in Dumbo.
They're
they
having-
got rid of the.
they're
No, that's in a live action version, right?
They're not in the live action version. No.
they're having a fit.
One of the issue with those is it was played by like 2 white guys.
Yeah.
There was only one.
It was
black
also
guy. There was only
very
one black guy.
racist.
And they're doing the whole massa kind of voice
Yeah.
too, and
Yeah.
that doesn't help.
No.
Um,
Song of the South. Disney made a lot of fucking mistakes.
but again, it's
Reminiscent of the time.
as I say, it's almost their fault, but also how the times were.
It's important to retain those things in order to learn from our mistakes.
See, my thing is put it in a fucking history book, and we can learn
Exactly.
from that. I don't mind us
Exactly.
like getting the video away and stuff. I don't think kids really need to see it or whatever, but we could read about it in books. That's why, again, I hate.
Well, yeah, kids don't need to see it, but if I'm an adult and I want to look at this, to be able to look at the historical context of
Right.
what people thought at the time, it's important for that to still be available. You know?
Well, that's
otherwise
the
we
whole
forget how people behave.
yanking
back
down
then.
the statues,
Yeah,
Charlottesville and all that. I'm okay with it because
that's a little different because you're putting a monument up to something.
You're celebrating it,
well,
more
yes,
or less.
versus-
and they're like, no, we're losing history. I'm like, dude,
They should have just taken those. In my opinion, they should have taken the statues and thrown them in museums and been like,
well, you could do
These
that,
are what
but
they look
basically, just all the people are like, how are we supposed to remember these? I'm like, they're in a fucking book.
Yeah, you put it down as information. You have that
It's
over there.
not
You have a
good
computer
to
and
have-
the internet. You have so much information out there
we
that
build statues to good things and good
Yeah.
people.
Rocky Balboa.
I guess.
and phallic. They're all.
I guess.
You got what is
So,
not the Lincoln. What's the
Washington Monument?
Washington Monument?
Do you
is
guys
one
know-
giant erect penis?
It's an obelisk.
It's a penis.
It's an obelisk.
Penis.
it's a penis. So
And the
6
White House is a
books
boob.
are being pulled.
No, no. It would
I
have
don't
to
remember
be
which one it is.
Loading.
have to be fucking Congress, right? The Capitol building. That's the
No,
one
it's
with
just
the
a
dome.
boob.
The White House
I thought-
the White House doesn't.
Oh, it
have a
doesn't.
dome.
Yeah, you're
He
right.
just sees body parts.
Yeah, I just see body parts in
So
structures.
the books that are getting pulled are, and again, I don't know.
Let me actually pull these up too because
I don't know. I haven't read not one of these books as a
Not
kid.
one of them.
Not one.
Obviously,
of
you haven't read a book.
them. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. If I ran a zoo, that's the only one that sounds somewhat familiar. And the cover, Mick Elligott's Pool.
Oh shit! You know, I actually. Oh wait, never mind.
On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, and the Cat's Quizzer.
So they canceled the Cat in the Hat.
No. People have mentioned something may come up with the cat, but
What's racist about the Cat in the Hat?
I would kind of draw the line. It just depends what's depicted in the book.
Yeah, but
So if you guys looked, I
you
showed
gotta
you.
show me the.
I
book
showed you
with
guys.
the Cat
I
in the
showed
Hat
you guys
being racist,
pictures in the podcast chat.
They're pretty bad.
Of what?
They're not
You're talking
So,
about.
they're not indistinct from other.
So the original
pieces of art from that time.
It's Dr. Seuss. It's his name is what, Tyler something, I believe.
Oh my God! I'm looking at all these articles. It just says no. Dr. Seuss wasn't canceled.
Well, they canceled these books.
Yeah,
Well,
that's.
You can't even say cancel.
You
They
can't
just
cancel a dead.
They're because the whole thing
book- it's
is
just
the
the
whole thing
books
is
are.
they're taking them away from children being able to read these things, right?
Yeah, they're not printing them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's because of the depictions of Jewish men, Asian
Yeah.
people, black people, how he drew them. And before that, he used to draw ads and stuff like that, and they did them that way. And again, he's just a subject of that time.
Yep.
But at the same time,
Oh my God! I think I've read all these books.
as a kid, really, all these books I have no clue.
All of them except for maybe Mick Elgott's Pool, but I'm pretty sure I've read On Beyond Zebra, Mulberry Street, and If I Were in the Zoo.
what I get and what I understand is when you have these in the library for children to read, you don't want a young Asian boy to be like, oh, this is me, this is what I'm depicted as, or this is how I'm supposed to look. You know, it just gives people the wrong image of. And I think any time, especially nowadays, that we can let kids have hope of being different and whatever, you don't want them to be pushed into a ball. That's why we do now. It's crazy, kind of. Nowadays, we do so many Power Rangers, X-Men, whoever it is, the group Avengers, they're so diverse. They mix it up. So everybody, I mean, fuck, the old Ghostbusters cartoon, they put the kid in a wheelchair just so someone... So Degrassi, Drake is in a wheelchair. Just so the fact that people could all fit in. With these, it was a little different. They made them certain ways, and it didn't sit well with this committee that went over it and said, we're not going to publish these books.
Which, I mean, fair givens to the company because they have all right to actually do that. I don't see any issue with actually getting rid. I don't know.
I think the issue comes down to, is this the only action we're taking towards this? Because if that is, I'm fine. If I can still go online and look at these books, not that I'm like looking for them all the time, I'm just saying, as long as they're available for people to understand the full grasp of who Dr. Seuss was as a person. Well, you know, you got to take the good and the bad. You can't throw the baby out with the
and I think
water,
a lot people say maybe could we use this as a teaching tool for children, but people are kind of also worried that they might be too small-minded, being young.
The second it becomes like full-on censor, and they take it off of like basically where I have to pirate it essentially to ever read these things, it's a little crazy.
No, I think if you were to discuss this,
you could put it in the Library of Congress, right?
You would have to wait until they're at least. But maybe right before high school, middle school into high school to explain the reason why we pulled these out. Like, this is an example of what happened back then.
But if that's the case, though, but why do you want to read it so bad if it's like...
It's not that I want to read it. It needs to be available so people understand the full grasp of who Dr. Seuss was as a person, right?
Right now, it's available to us to look at, like, the art and the books as adults. But for me, I don't ever have to read these again.
I'm not talking about for you. I'm talking about for people who have to do research and have to take a look at like I don't know, college students in high school. College student in like literature school, that a literature class who like needs to learn about how people drew and portrayed people of color in comics in books as a negative thing. You know, understand that this is how even super popular writers such as Dr. Seuss, a guy who was renowned for his children's book, still had these thoughts, so people can learn that this is how life was back then, so we can not repeat it. It's not about like me feeling desire to read it all the time. It's about it just being available for people to learn from. The second you take it off, there's no ability for people to interpret, to understand, to get that grasp of it.
And like,
it's just gone.
Going back to when they were saying he was in college, he drew black boxers as gorillas, perpetrated Jewish stereotypes by portraying Jewish characters financially stingy. Again, this is something that
Dr. Seuss was not a god; he was a man. That means men have.
I know this,
but that means.
But I'm saying, I think it was during a time where people all did this.
Yeah,
I mean,
where people have flaws.
If you guys watched the Bruce Lee movie, the first one, like where they're kind of, I think Jerry Lewis is playing an Asian, and he gets up mad and he leaves in the middle of it. It's just certain times we were insensitive and we didn't care, I guess, about how people look and how they took it. Yeah. But again, this is 1920. I'm not giving them like a break, but the study shows, published in 2019, examined 50 books by Dr. Seuss and found 43 out of 45 characters of color have characteristics aligning with the definition of Orientalism. That's really weird to say that.
Orientalism?
Or the stereotypical offensive portrayal of Asia. The two African Americans or African characters, the study says, both have anti-black characteristics.
So getting rid of them for kids is one thing. That's fine.
But it's not an adult book, though. You know?
Yes, but you can't just get rid of it, right? Dr. Seuss did not write non-adult content. Like I said, he described how the nuclear war happened with the I don't know, I think it's called like the butter battle. They fight over like how they butter their toast, but they keep building more and more advanced weapons, and he basically teaches that this conflict over something as simple and stupid as just a way of putting the butter on the bread, which is it is capitalism versus communism will lead to this inevitable self-destruction between both people. You know, he had very nuanced writing style that it's very important to look at that aspect, as well as look at, like I said, a very popular writer who thought things we don't think anymore. We can't just erase that, right?
And just to throw out, in the Cat's Quizzer, the Japanese character is referred to as a Japanese, has a bright yellow face, and is standing on what appears to be Mount Fuji. If I ran a zoo, it showed the three and only three Asian characters who are not wearing conical hats are carrying a white male on their heads in the If I Ran a Zoo. The white male is not only on top and being carried by these Asian characters, but he's also holding a gun, illustrating dominance. The text beneath the Asian characters describe them as helpers who all wear their eyes at slant in countries no one can spell.
Okay.
The studio's author wrote. So that was in that one. And then I think they said and to think that I saw it on Marbury Street, center whiteness and thus perpetrate. I always say these damn words. Right? Oh yeah, that picture. White supremacy. So I get why these are, but again, these are books I'd never even seen or heard.
So looking at this image, this is the one you described with the three guys walking. I can definitely see why these are just pretty racist characterizations. My only thing is you might be going overboard with the assumption that this kid is holding a gun, i.e. dominance. It almost like when you say something like that, it almost like it becomes less authentic. It becomes like you're searching for.
Is it you're looking for it?
That's what it feels
at first
like.
Okay, because I understand.
Because at first glance, I see this
I cannot stand people looking for racism.
That's what it feels
like. But
at
first glance, does it look racist?
It looks racist. I don't know why she felt like she needed to make the comment about he's holding a gun, i.e. equals dominance. Like that's just the kid's
Lucas
like.
Needs to look at it. What's your first thought when you look at it? Racism, or just a picture?
The kid just is standing there triumphantly, he captured this big beast and these. I said, I can see the racism immediately. I cannot see where the signs of dominance.
If I took out
people who write,
if I took out this whole conversation and looked at it, honestly, I would actually saw the dude at the top as Cat in the Hat, and he would have just been a cat because he's kind of depicted that way. And I would have just thought it was a dude hunting. And then once I actually started looking around, I'm like, oh, look at that. Okay, that is a really racist depiction. But you gotta look at the style of that.
So I'm gonna go.
They're dressed, and same with the character dress. Because
I'm gonna go with a couple points real quick, just interjecting. You could answer. So do you think cancel culture is going too far with these books with what they're showing?
No,
and then
depends on how you define cancel.
And to add on to that, I want to add, what effect do you think the books would have on children if they did read this or look at it in, you having a kid?
As a child who read these books, like I said, I never noticed anything, and it never corrupted my way of thinking about people of other color.
That's the thing is, a lot of time racism is, or racist things are right in front of us, and sometimes as children we don't see it because we don't know racism really.
Yeah, some people would argue that humans are inclined to be racist. I do not agree with that assertion.
Come on, the whole "we are Siamese."
That's rough.
That's pretty racist. But I never once thought it when I watched it. I sang the song.
Well, that whole movie's kind of rough. That movie's got some character.
We're talking Walt Disney.
Yeah, that movie's got some.
But okay, I'm saying, do you think this was okay to be targeted?
I do not think that if kids read this without any other connotation, it would cause them to be racist.
But you have to remember, some of the things they do say was like the man with slanted eyes, and
Yeah, but words can be edited, correct?
Yes,
correct.
But to kids, man with slanted eyes is a man with slanted eyes. They're not going to go typically to an Asian, which is who that's depicting, and go, "Hey, you're the man with slanted eyes," for the most part, unless you are the parent going, "Hey, that's not okay to say. That could be technically mean." It just really depends on the context of how everything is actually playing out. And I don't think a kid reading that would immediately go, this is depiction of that person up until they start getting older.
And I'm talking more pre-kindergarten too.
Yeah. Someone that young, they're not going to look at this.
Because I remember coming home from kindergarten telling my mom, I have a black kid in my class. And it's weird to me because my whole life, my dad's best friend was black. But to me, that was like a shocker, but not good or bad. I was just telling my mom about my day, first day of kindergarten. Now, to me, I think about it as older. I'm like, was that like a racist thing? Of course, I know I'm not racist, but why was that such a big thing to me? Because like all the other kids weren't.
Because as a child, you have experienced less surprises in your life.
I guess.
So mundane things that are when you are an adult.
But it was, like I said, it was just weird because my dad's best friend.
Because it's the first time you've ever had
maybe
a
saw
black
young,
peer.
Yeah, I guess
you've had somebody that's your age in your class, and that's not racist at a thought, because it's just
weird that
right?
it stands out. I think if I nowadays, if I was a little kid and came home nowadays, and I said that out loud, I feel like a parent would be like, "Oh my God, is our son going to be racist? Oh my God," because now we're in such a different time.
That's not how racism works. Racism is a taught. It's a taught thing. It's not an
in these times
thing.
Though. People are worried about everything.
Yeah,
my son's playing with dolls. Is he going to be gay? He wants to wear a dress. Is he going to be trans? We all freak out over the littlest things. When back in the day, I feel like it wasn't as serious.
That's because people are morons. No offense to those people who think that way, but if you're like, my kid noticed that somebody of a different color looks different than him, does not mean he's going to become a racist. He's only ever going to become a racist if you teach him to be racist.
Yeah.
If he's around people that are racist.
You can
behavior.
If this stuff was in movies and it was actually a depiction of the actual races in there, I can see that being racist because they're being shown and they're being taught. This is a picture. And it's not like a picture of any humanistic. They have human-like qualities, but you can obviously tell that is not a real human. That is a depiction of some kind of entity, especially Dr. Seuss. If kids are reading Dr. Seuss books, they're used to Cat in the Hat.
And again,
they're used to these. I mean, look at the picture. That's not even a real creature. Yeah, so they're automatically in a fantasy land, in a fantasy world.
Though, they're also. I mean, I'm trying to separate it a little bit. That this was early in his career, saying that it's not a bad thing or whatever. But I don't. It's just rough because, like, as a parent, anything that has anything that could be negative, I just wouldn't want it around my kid.
But do you think that something like that, if Logan read that, do you think that he would inherently view races?
I don't think he would view it like that.
Or
but I wouldn't want to have the when you're fishing, I don't want the what do they call those? Bobber. I don't want the bobber in the water for him though. I don't want to even play with it.
But now you're kind of trying to cherry pick something that's going to be inevitable.
Well, yeah, but if I get my chances to play it safe and try to do the best I can for my son, I'm going to protect him the best I can. You know what I mean? If it's a chance, to be honest, there's a million other books. I can go to different books. I don't have to have this book.
Well, yeah.
So that's my opinion. It's like, okay, if this is a little controversial, we might as well just stay away from it and read. There's a lot of other great books.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I really doubt that those are like super, super, super popular. Because if
they're
they were
going for like $400 right now.
Is it because of this?
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like when they banned the cards out of Magic.
Yeah.
It's like you just draw more attention to them too.
So I mean, it is what it is. It's not the end of. They're not canceling Dr. Seuss. They are stopping production of those books.
Now, the last thing I was going to
as long as they don't go into like
the Lorax and stuff like that.
No, not the Lorax, but like as long as this doesn't go into other like actual legitimate literature.
Well, okay, that's kind of what I was going to say.
Because
I saw what's his name? I can't stand him. He's extreme right winger. He's usually with Candace Owen.
There's a lot of people.
What is he?
I was
say he's a white dude, young white guy, but
what does he look like? Is he British?
Kirk, Charlie Kirk.
I think I know kind of who you're talking about. Yeah, what about him?
He basically was like big speech on the news, like left wing media is gonna like, where are they gonna stop? Are they going to take away, or they're already taking away Huck and Finn? They're already taking away this and that. The Huck and Finn, I haven't heard of, but of course I know there is stuff about colored people, they say, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's the whole point of that book.
No,
right.
In what is it? Is it the Huck? Oh my God, oh my fucking God, I can't remember the name now. Can't put it together. It's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, right?
Yeah.
And what's the other one?
I have no idea.
There's another one where
but they come across a black dude.
Yeah, he's Yeah, but there's a book about that black dude and another character. I cannot.
Yeah.
And I'm kicking myself.
But I just don't know if that's been canceled or what. But he
In some schools,
this guy's
they
name's
don't
Charlie.
do.
This is Charlie Kirk. That's his name. His name's Charlie Kirk.
I'm thinking backwards.
I can't stand Charlie Kirk. But go
It's
ahead.
Tom Sawyer, and
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer's a friend named Huck Finn, and there's a black guy in that book, and then they get their book, okay, and then they get Huckleberry Finn.
Well, they're basically saying and the other guy I can't stand this guy either. He was in the second Real World, and now he's a big Republican. And it's funny because Road Rules. I've watched this guy be an idiot on MTV, and now he's like a Republican. Whatever, we all can change. But it's just kind of hard for me to take him serious. But again, he was up there arguing too that this left agenda, they're going to take away all our books and this and that.
I think they're being a rat. I think they
go for anything that they can use to go against people.
Yeah, I think they're being irrational, but I don't think they're entirely incorrect. I think the point comes down, like I said, is once this information becomes unavailable, period, that's when it's crossed the line. You know, when they start taking things out of the Library of Congress, say if they edit, there's a copy of Tom Sawyer and there's a copy of Huck Finn in the Library of Congress. If they went in and they edited that version, we would have an issue because
You're rewriting history at that point.
Yeah, you're rewriting
and we already do that too much.
We must. Those two books are so important to America's literature. We must maintain, for historical accuracy, we must maintain the original transcripts in order to keep them around.
You have to remember, there was schools trying to take out To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like a quintessential book you need to read growing up.
Yeah, like that especially during that time when you actually do read it. And that is important.
And it's always at a good
She made
age.
another
It's
one.
always like ninth grade.
that's what I'm
She wrote a
saying.
follow-up. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
She wrote a follow-up, and apparently, I think the girl's all grown up, and her dad's now the dad who's a lawyer who fought for the black guy
Atticus?
is now a racist.
That's dumb.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't like that.
Apparently, that's like the original story she wanted to tell. And I was like, what the hell? You just
Oh, they die. Hope they all burn in hell.
Atticus Finch was a sick character because he was like this.
He fought against the...
And like when he has to shoot the dog, that scene where he like is like all of a sudden accurate, and his family realize like there's kind of a badass hidden under here. Like that, he's such a good character that to just flip that on its head is fucking ridiculous to me.
Yeah, as long as they don't actually like get rid of these things from history, then it should be okay.
For me,
You could censor them for kids, but don't censor them for adults.
But I think it's like they're saying that he regretted a lot of that early stuff, and it was widely it's widely accepted that this book, Horton Hears a Who, was an apology for his earlier racist art.
I didn't even think about that. That's a great statement.
And went on to write many books and themes of inclusion and tolerance. So
the sneeze.
And literally everything else afterwards was.
So I think I'm fine with them getting rid of these books because he wasn't in the best state of mind. He was doing what he had to do.
What level are you okay with them getting rid of these books at? This is the argument.
If I never see him again, I'm fine because I never heard of it.
That's crazy to me.
I've never heard of these books.
That's crazy to me. You just can't eliminate something from history.
Oh, there's a lot of things eliminated from history.
Like what?
I just think there's a lot of things that people
doesn't make
bury,
it okay.
bury
Doesn't
it.
make it okay. And we're talking about literature here.
Like, do we need to have access to everything?
Yes.
Good and bad, I mean?
Yes. Absolutely. Good and bad.
I just think it feels
Absolutely.
too much conspiracy-like. Like, we need to know everything that's been there.
How is that conspiracy? Like, that's just
because like, where have things gone?
Because it's important to the understanding of human culture and the changing of society over time is to maintain these documents.
So you don't think because they have Dr. Seuss Museum, you don't think them covering that he worked on some controversial things before early in his life and then he wrote Horton Hears a Who where everything changed?
Yeah.
You think we need to look at what he did beforehand or they can't just speak of it?
Well,
no, that's not my argument. It's not that
it's
they
actually
can speak of
it's
it.
actually a good example of someone changing too.
Now, do you think those books need to be there for you to do that though? Or can they just say...
So burn every copy of it?
Or they can just say he did do this.
No, because you need to actually have proof. As long as you actually can have proof of it, because now you're not fabricating history nearly as much. Because that's kind of the issue is that you can... If this was, let's say, the worst case scenario that a lot of the right-wing people or far-right people think, is that if we start down this path, we're going to make it so that we're in 1984 kind of stuff where government dictates everything that's going on. If we get to that degree,
and they retroactively change the past.
Yeah, if they do it to that degree, then yeah, I mean, they're changing, literally rewriting history. I don't think it's going to be that crazy right now, but it is important to make sure that we do have evidence of everything, especially someone as big as him.
That's why we still have Mein Kampf, right?
Yeah, I mean, you need to make sure that you understand human evolution, human history, the reason why people are the way they are, and see like, okay, even someone who depicted people as super racist now went, okay, cool. Now he actually is talking about inclusion. Yes.
I mean, like I said, I understand,
but
if they want to put it in the museum or whatever, but if it was never there for me, I don't care, just because
it's not.
I think you're taking it too personally.
I'm not. I just said I don't.
No,
care.
I mean he's not.
What I mean is you're personally applying. You.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't affect you either way, right? If they kept it around and like it wasn't pulled out off the left, then it wouldn't bother you, right?
Yeah.
So if it's around, if it's not, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I think it's bad, and I wouldn't use it as a teaching tool for children. I think he wouldn't want you to use it as a teaching tool because, again, he learned from it.
Not children. I think like people who are young adults.
If you're Dr. Seuss enthusiast and follow his life, sure. I mean,
well, no, I'm like even something like in anything literature, even when you talk about racism in America, because that is what's discussed in history classes or world study classes, you can bring this up. Go look. This is the depiction of that time. Yeah. This is Dr. Seuss. You guys all read Dr. Seuss. You guys thought he was that way, but that's what he depicted, and now he's depicting other things. I mean, you can actually point to a point in history in something as childish as Dr. Seuss.
Well, and the thing is, we don't.
And we go, okay, that's
but they don't.
The time.
I don't know where they would teach that though.
They teach it all over. They teach racism in America all
they just,
over.
No. We're using Dr. Seuss. I'm saying.
Well,
no.
They potentially could, because no one was going to use it until probably most people heard about it, or where the people can recognize, okay, that's exactly what this is. I don't know. Should it be gotten rid of out of history? Probably not. I don't think anything should be ever gotten rid of out of history, no matter what.
Well, you figure it's not going to be out of history. They're just not going to print it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't print it anymore, that's not the end of the world, because we still have probably millions of copies out there.
The eBay doesn't seem like it, but I guess
you can probably find them.
Yeah, but
dude, every single library probably has every single Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah,
they'll probably take it away, to be honest. But like I said, as long as I can find it on the internet, we're fine. As long as I could go to I could go anywhere and just look it up and read the whole book on the internet. It's fine. And like I said, I'm only using me as an example. I'm just saying, if a person would need to do this or want to do this, or would want to research about Dr. Seuss, you wouldn't want somebody writing a report about Dr. Seuss and it just be all the positives. You want them to be like, hey, here's some horrible things that he's.
There are some book reports that are nothing but positive, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
But like, if you're writing like a high level book report, like if you're writing or like a biography, or if you're writing like something where you're doing a deep analysis of a famous person, and you want every aspect of that person, it's important that we maintain this aspect of him, because it was how he thought back then. May it be how he changed. But
like I said, I don't think it's so much how he thought. It was just the way it was. And then you just adapt with the world. And, I'm sure a lot of people didn't like the way it was, but that's how it is. But no one was fighting for anything or anything like that. I'm sure there was somewhat, but he was just doing his job. He was an artist, and no matter what they said, he was a good man, a good artist, and luckily he apologized for all of it. So I mean, I think it is what it is. I'm not worried about whatever super left or whatever you want to call it, what they're trying to do.
The libtards
to take away from it, take away books. I don't think that's going to happen. But people are always going to be looking for stuff. Like we said, Eminem today was one of them, and I'm just like, what are you trying to do? Moving on, WandaVision,
which they have not said they're going to cancel, so that is free from cancel culture, right?
What, Eminem?
WandaVision.
Oh, WandaVision. Yeah. I mean, if they let's make a character gay, or make a.
Isn't there already a character in there that's gay? Technically, isn't Wiccan gay?
True. I'm just saying, make something extreme. They may want to, but I doubt it.
So how was this episode?
I liked it actually. Even though some of the stuff we already knew, like the scene of the whole bomb thing. I mean, I kind of.
What my problem was the whole time watching it, I just wanted to get to the Easter egg shit, like the cool stuff,
and
we got nothing.
Nothing. That actually was a little.
Well,
odd.
we got some stuff. We got a retro.
But the whole.
Actually, what we did get, and I was looking at something today, and it makes a lot of sense that when she killed Vision, she actually probably was doing the same thing that Agatha was doing to the witches, taking that power. So when she created Vision inside that universe, there's a reason why he remembers some things but doesn't remember other things. Is because that's Vision. Well,
it's weird because I put down here.
That is like when one Easter egg.
When they showed Agatha Harkness, I always mess up her name. I just like to call her Agnes.
That's a banger of a song too. It was Agatha.
That was the episode before.
Oh, really? Was it?
Yeah. This one starts off.
Dude, I'm always an episode behind in these podcasts.
This one starts with when she's about to be killed.
Oh yeah. Like I was saying,
and the last person she's killing, I think, is her mom.
Yeah.
But you see her blue makes like a crown, like Scarlet Witch's.
Yeah.
So people were saying they don't know if that's like a hierarchy of power or whatever. Because Agatha never got anything like that. But we see
that was a weird scene. I'm not gonna lie, because the acting in that
for me though, it took forever.
It did.
I was like, let's go. I don't need to know this much of her history.
Now the thing was, it seemed like very odd because like the mom and all the witches seemed very, very sure of themselves, even though it looked like their power was being drained. Right? It looked like they weren't like, oh my god, we're like, they know, like we're trying to hold them apparently.
And it looked like she wasn't even trying to fight back.
Yeah,
it was. But then it was just like fighting back for her on her
was
own.
it they were trying to overpower her so much that she like blew up? Like,
yeah.
What were they trying to do with that?
So in my notes, I wrote that it was quite the anime beam struggle. When I was watching it, it reminded me of like Goku and Vegeta, because it's the purple and blue beam clash, and they were like fighting over it. I love those things in movies where they're like, I'm gonna hit you with my laser at the same time, and they clash and all that stuff.
But the thing that was missing out of that was the reaction of the characters.
Yeah, I agree.
Actually, where like they were fighting, because Agatha was
felt
like,
out of
just
place.
like it was weird.
It did feel weird. It was kind of cool that they were witches that put the witch on the stake. Right?
Yeah, that was actually
kind of odd.
That was
like,
actually kind of interesting.
Covenant, but it was because she was
learning the dark side.
She was messing with the dark side.
A coven.
What I call it?
A covenant.
A covenant.
A covenant is much of these like these Hinjaws and hunters. I just realized I used the racial slur for saying Healy. Now that I think about it, but whatever.
She mentions Pietro,
which is fake Pietro.
And does that mean we have no X-Men connection now at all? Why did she pull? And she goes, she said like it's hard for me to pull your brother's dead body because he's another country and he has holes in him. And I'm like, bitch, can't you just make things out of thin air? Like, I don't get it. Like,
no. She can't. That's not how magic works. That's why the Scarlet Witch exists.
Yeah,
because she can. That's the thing she's talking about. Is Agatha can't do that. But
what
Scarlet
made her
can.
grab even Evan Peters?
Some people are saying it could have just been a actor. It could have been an image she saw from another reality.
Kevin Feige said that like it was just to make people more like confused and stuff. I'm like, but that doesn't make a good story. Like, she just plucked a guy that looks like the other Quicksilver in another reality.
Yeah.
But I think there's more secrets.
Probably.
So what was really weird, and Magic John brought this up to me. Okay, first of all, it's cool that we got, again, I thought the backstories segments took a little too long. But if they weren't going to give us anything, whatever. But he was saying, why were they so nonchalant? They're like in a war time. Like, they looked outside and people were actually like throwing bombs and like stuff, and they go back to just watching TV. And shit.
That's probably how a lot of people in the Eastern Bloc lived.
But it's like I forgot how he said it. He goes, there's times where it's like, yeah, you're in the slums and war could just break out, bombs. But people are literally outside right now fighting, throwing shit. Bombs.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
You should probably be underneath the bed and shit like that.
Yeah,
that was.
Or it happens so often that they're like, okay, you know what?
Normalized.
Time for Bewitched.
Or they're like, oh crap, this is the end. So if this is the end, might as well just keep them happy.
Does anybody know what language they were speaking? Were they speaking an actual language, or did they make up a Sokovian language?
I don't know.
Weird.
I know that they
questions for later.
I know that they did translate what the witches were saying, and it was basically about caging the animal or something like that.
Kinky.
And then when when Agnes, where the fuck is she, when she does it to Scarlet, it's something the animal too, when she was doing the thing with the piece of hair and all that. But also what kind of was weird to me, when did Vision like get time to do this whole house thing, like get a deed? And
well, so the thing is, when that did we talk about her actually going into the sword facility yet?
No.
No, go
Okay,
ahead.
so first she goes into the sword facility and she busts in there all badass and yells at the
Vision.
guy.
Well, she just
and
yells at the guy. Well, everyone's saying Hayward is Mephisto.
Hayward. No, I think Hayward's just a easy scapegoat. He's just an asshole.
I don't know now if I'd be upset if there's no Mephisto or relieved, because I hear it every week.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
but geez, sorry, I was looking at something real quick. She like goes in there and she sees the Vision's body and she confirms he's dead and she wants to take it with her, but she doesn't. She clearly does not take it with her.
Well, it's funny if you watch the clips of when what they showed, it all happens.
Yeah.
She breaks in, shows that. It just cuts out to when she walks up to it, and it's like I can't feel him.
I'm really glad though too, because one of my pet peeves is when they show like recorded footage in a movie and it's just the footage shot from the camera.
Yeah.
I hate that. But when they take like another camera angle and they're like,
This is how it really looks.
Mhm.
You
It's
need
like-
to see.
it's like just that little touch of like
Detail.
detail that just makes it so much more alive. But
I couldn't imagine seeing the person you love sprawled out in fucking 6 pieces.
I don't get how she loves just this weird cyborg robot man. I don't know.
because
Like,
love's complicated, Ernie.
Dude, she's been alone. That was the whole thing about that. Was that
just
she
a giant
literally
popsicle,
You want
she literally has been alone.
vibrating
the whole time.
popsicle.
hey, what's with the popsicle? But back to the deed you were talking about. Those appeared in her car. She basically goes out to her car. First off, she's traveling by car, which I think is funny. That she to get into the sword facility, she has to pull up,
I know.
talk to the dude that has to open the gate for her, and he's like, can I see some ID? Bitch, I could turn you into like a puddle right now.
I just feel like I'm an Avenger, motherfucker.
basically, right?
I don't need no clearance.
No. I mean, you do, but no. But she gets in her
Let's figure
car.
you're an Avenger at that time because you brought back reality.
Yeah, she gets in her car and she looks over and she kind of like is surprised to see the papers there. So it looks like someone was snuck into her car and put them there. So maybe Agatha put them there. Maybe someone else put them there. You know, maybe someone.
I'd hate us to. That's
Maybe
the thing
Vision
is,
didn't actually buy a house. Somebody's making us think.
because to
Vision
me
did.
it's weird that Vision goes and he's like, yes, I'm here for a deed, and it's just like, you know, going through all that. But that would make sense if Agatha do it. But I don't want to have another episode of flashbacks and stuff.
My biggest question that is yet to be answered over all of this is where exactly the Mind Stone is. The Mind Stone in this timeline. Are there no Infinity Gems in this timeline?
Yeah,
Because Thanos destroyed them all.
he has it in his head, but
And
did
if-
she just have it?
If Scarlet Witch brings it back, then where are the other Infinity Stones?
Let's not even talk about the whole time travel thing because that thing's outrageous.
I'm not talking about that
Yeah, but
necessarily.
it got
but this could be a thing they answer, right?
that she
'cause-
brought it back.
In this,
well, she could alter reality, so she could create gems.
that she like, I think I was telling Crystal this too. She could just be
My wife.
yeah, because my car broke down and I had to drive, and she.
It's
came to
fine.
pick
Go
me
ahead.
up.
Carry on.
But I said that maybe because she can create, if she creates these gems, maybe she just becomes the bad guy for the purposes of that she is the most powerful being on the universe.
Well, it was just nuts. Her creating Vision, that was a kind of a I didn't see coming, where she just creates him out of nothing, and I'm like, okay, so is he real or is he?
Well,
He's
not
as real
like I
as you
said,
want
I
him to
think
be.
that's where the person I was talking about when she killed Vision, she technically took that power to a certain degree, so she could have kept Vision inside of her, even though he snapped and went back in time. But he didn't go back in time. He went.
Pretty fucked up
Can't-
of Tony Stark to snap and just not bring Vision and Black Widow back for the hell of it. Just
Yeah,
to
but-
try.
I don't know. I don't know that whole power if it's
Yeah,
whatever you think
yeah,
about. Because
yeah.
I mean, for whatever reason, all of Thanos' army died.
Yeah.
So that snap brought people back, but took out his population. So that means that was just whatever power in your mind. So I don't
No, didn't they snap it twice? They snapped it once to bring everybody back, and once to kill
What-
everybody.
what did-
Kill
Hulk-
Thanos.
Yeah.
People.
Did Hulk do that then?
Yeah,
Hulk
Hulk
did
made
it
the
to
first snap.
Bring
And
people
didn't-
back.
and that's why Hulk didn't
And that
die.
they told Hulk though purposely. Remember, everyone that died during the snap, no one before or something like that.
Yeah.
And also and then I think they were talking about like, and then he brought them all safely back. So all the people that were on planes and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So going back to
That's still weird because people in planes, like the plane,
You just have them appear on the ground.
I guess.
So if she did take Vision's power to kill him, because it looks like the same drain that the witches did, or Agatha did to the witches.
Maybe that's why they showed us that scene.
Yeah, and
'Cause I was
maybe
like,
that's
that
why.
scene
So
was, like,
she
I was like, why?
created Vision because she already had Vision. Because Thanos, when he went back in time, he didn't rewind everything. He rewound his death. He didn't rewind pulling the power from Scarlet Witch and putting that back in the gem. Right? He just rewound.
But then it feels like then the gym had power. It'd have to have power for him to use it, though. I don't know. Well, one thing that also bugged me too was Harkness is out there with the two kids, and it's like, what does she want?
She wants to siphon powers.
She does the
from-
name drop of, the Scarlet Witch, which is cool. I mean, we've been calling her that from the beginning, but she never makes a demand like. She tells them like you should never have this power.
Well, she was siphoning power from the other witches, right?
Right.
And Scarlet Witch is the most powerful witch, right?
she
it
wanted
seems like
to
it.
know.
So she wants to siphon her powers.
Well,
But she
also-
doesn't directly say that. She just says you're making breakfast for dinner when you're.
But that's what I'm saying is maybe that the reason they showed us the
My thing is, do you think the
energy
kids are
sockets-
real right there,
Yeah.
or you think those are what Harkness made up? It made the kids, just like in the comics, how they were created with Scarlet and maybe Agnes. Because I'm like, that's all they have. But there is promo pictures they've shown of them with Vision, all four of them together with their hands up, like ready to fight. So
Maybe it is all reality. But Agatha did seem like she was curious on why she had this power. Not that she wanted to siphon, because if she wanted to siphon, she would have done that unless she was too afraid to do that because she wasn't
That's-
strong enough. Because why go through the time of going through
think-
all her
'cause
tragedy?
I think
Because
she had to
magicians
learn.
always want to. That's just like a trope of being an evil magic users. You just always want to siphon more power. Like,
Yeah, but why go through the pain of going through the backstory?
because
Why go? What makes you tick, huh? What
sometimes
exactly?
people like to play with their food.
Because like that doesn't
also
seem.
find weaknesses.
Vulnerabilities.
But she already knows pretty much damn near
She did
all
know
of
a
them.
lot. She did know because she did know to bring back her brother.
Yeah. She knew enough to actually cause Scarlet to lose her own sanity the episode prior.
But I don't think she knew how she created that world. I don't
No,
know.
she didn't. That's why she was trying to figure out where she got her power
But
from.
where does she come into the world though?
What do you mean?
Did she just see this world of all this power and that drew her in because she's a magic person? If she saw it, why isn't Doctor Strange seeing it?
Because Doctor Strange is probably taking over other things?
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
With Scarlet Witch, you're not gonna that kind of power. Oh, then now they're saying that Monica Rambeau's a person of interest or whoever it is. That it's not gonna be a big deal. They go, it's already happened, or so. I don't know. Just kind of.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, people were saying.
Dude,
The director was like, of course it'd be nice for us to get Reed Richards, but that's not gonna happen.
But didn't you say there was somebody?
That's what she said in an interview.
That's super.
Fans are going to be hecka excited, and then
That's hella
the
lame.
director yesterday was in an interview, and he goes, "Yeah, it's not going to be nothing crazy." And I mean, who knows? We'll be having a different discussion after we watch it, but
You talking about the whole Easter egg or the whole Luke Skywalker fucking crazy?
no, that's supposed to still happen. Someone's going to have to come and help them, but. It's the Monica was meeting up with science. What kind of science was it?
Oh yeah.
Space.
I think oh my god, not a rocket engineer. Dude, I cannot remember it.
So it's not going to be.
Yeah, I can't.
Well, it's not going to be Reed Richards. I knew that. They're not going to set up Reed Richards in a TV series.
No,
He's going to be the after credit scene in
Yeah.
like a big movie or something.
Multiverse of Madness.
I think Ant-Man.
Victor Von Doom. I've been meaning to talk to you
Ant-Man-
for a while. I got a project for you.
Ant-Man, Wasp. What was it called? Something Mania.
No,
Quantumania,
Quantum.
Oh, yeah.
it's one
Yeah.
word.
which
Quantum
Kang is going to take a big part in. I heard.
the Conqueror.
And Kang is a time traveler.
He's the
who's
boy.
actually Franklin Richards.
No, I thought he was Reed.
No, it's Franklin.
Isn't there in one timeline he's Tony?
I mean, who knows?
Isn't the Young Avenger one Tony?
Iron Lad?
Yeah.
No, Iron Lad's Ultron's grandson.
No, I'm talking about Kang. The Young Avenger's Kang. I think it's Tony.
I don't know. Maybe.
Fuck. Kang's just one of those
Fucking
characters.
stupid
Wait,
time
before we-
traveling
before we-
multiverse.
He's got to look
fucking-
like Kang, too.
Before
right?
we I hope so. Before we wrap it up, we got White Vision. I was excited. That comic quadrupled in price. The first appearance of that costume, I fucking hate it. Hate the fucking market. But what do you guys think is going to happen with this White Vision?
They're going to fuse into one bang. I think that the Vision's going to come back to life because whatever energy is he's constructed of currently is going to manifest it into the body.
Either I'm going to be 100% wrong, say Vision's going to make it out of it, and they're both going to die Doomsday Superman type of fight, or I was thinking that maybe his essence can go into that body.
Yeah,
because that's probably the reason why he was splitting apart when he left
but when he was
because he's not supposed to.
When he's
be.
the white one, he's supposed to be.
We just didn't get a lot of Vision, you know. In the most of the Marvel universe,
badass Vision, but the white one's supposed to be very like.
He's like the best part of Age of Ultron.
The white one's supposed to be. People think it's Ultron. First of all, they go.
I would be totally down.
If you notice, Ultron lost his left hand. As soon as he comes back, he's looking at his left hand, and I was like, that's a little too much for me. But
if it was Ultron, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but also,
I want Vision still. I don't want Ultron.
Yeah,
maybe
it'd be
that's
weird to shoehorn Ultron into the story though.
At the very end, of this big bad guy, like,
and has nothing to do with the Scarlet Witch or nothing to do with magic. Who would just totally doesn't like.
But yeah, I don't. But he's gonna be just basically like Terminator. Like,
he'll be like a blank, boring robot.
Yeah,
and he's probably the guy.
They're gonna send him to go kill.
And he's probably the guy Paul Bettany's been wanting to work with, which is himself.
That pissed me off too because Paul Bettany's like,
the key
he's
is,
a great actor. I've never worked with him before.
He says he's wanted to work with him for his entire life. The only person you really know for your entire life is yourself, right?
Yeah.
Unless there's older actors.
No,
I mean that's
like Ian McKellen,
your dad?
maybe.
Someone that you grew up with your whole life. That was an actor.
It's gonna be Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Remember
when you were the size of the tangerine?
I'm Mephisto.
You are. I am Mephisto.
He's very good at playing a charismatic person.
Michael Caine.
Because he was in something Lions.
We just get 3 different British actors to play different versions of Mephisto.
Oh,
they bought a lion from and they had hella money and there's a kid.
Stuff, right?
There's a kid with them. Yeah.
What?
We summed up the movie pretty well, right?
Yeah,
there.
more or less, dude.
All I can think is We Bought a Zoo. So
no,
it's something Lions, right?
It's a weird
it's
name
weird
for the kind of movie.
It's also
isn't he in the Italian Job, the original one?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how good my Michael
Blame It on
Caine
Rio. I like that movie. He hooks up with like his best friend's daughter in that movie. It's really weird. It's like a 70s movie.
Yeah,
he was also
weird.
in Now You See Me. He's a bad guy. Now You See Me.
I know.
That movie is rough.
I just watched Batman Begins again last night, and he's just so good.
Oh, he's so good in that whole thing.
Like I said, I remember when you were the size of a tangerine. That's my favorite line from him.
Are you gonna give up on me? Never.
Never.
Yeah, just bring Michael Caine back as a.
And I know we're talking about WandaVision though. Can eventually in live action, can I see Alfred just cap a motherfucker? Because he's done it in comic books.
He does it a lot in comic
Yeah,
books.
I want to see him just shoot somebody.
I want to see
Cold
him
blood.
beat the shit out of Superman.
Just like an Injustice comic where he's like
he beats the
beats
shit
the
out of
shit out of
Superman.
him.
Yeah, but everybody's beating the shit out of Superman every once in a while, right?
So, what are we placing bets on for WandaVision, though?
I bet.
How's this all ending? Nightmare, Mephisto,
Doctor Strange is gonna come and he's
Michael
gonna fix it
Caine.
up. No, Doctor Strange. But
It would have
Strange is
to-
our Luke.
Yeah.
you got me
Captain
on the
America.
idea, though. We should do a podcast video where we cast our like 5 favorite Marvel characters.
Can you imagine just Captain America traveling, like when he's returning the gyms, and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" No, and then he just like gets into action helping them.
I'd like to see Michael
Wouldn't
Caine
work.
as Brian
No.
Braddock
Michael Caine.
as Captain Britain. He's too old. Like I said, Ewan McGregor for Captain Britain.
You know what? I
Or
don't.
Russell Crowe.
He got in good shape. They're showing him. He's working out to be Obi-Wan right now. I don't know why he has to work out for it, but he's getting.
Jedi's got to be fit.
No.
They jump around and whatnot.
They're never fit.
What are you talking about?
Only Ridley looked like she ever gotten like Olympic shape.
Was there a fat Jedi?
I mean, I could be a first.
Probably.
I mean, do you think Samuel Jackson's in great shape?
And no, but he didn't play like an outwardly obese person.
No. Yeah, I mean, it looks all right. That's the picture I saw.
You know what? I don't know.
Dude,
Doctor
Sean
Strange.
Penn.
Doctor Strange seems too
Sorry, I
much
just
like
wanna say
just a
Sean
cop out.
Well, because it's gonna start.
Yeah, it's gonna start into the other thing, and I don't think that's a Luke Skywalker moment.
It is if he shows up and starts cleaning house. Who else can you pick up? Like, he's mentioned Baron Mordo.
Yeah, but the thing is,
That's not my.
it would be a character
Total idea,
that
but
you
yeah.
like. Okay, who would this be? Because that's the whole thing with the Luke Skywalker moment was. I mean, I knew it was Luke, but not everyone knew it was Luke. People thought it could have been fucking whoever.
No, I knew it was Luke the second I saw the X-wing.
I saw the X-wing and I was like,
There's no question about
People-
it.
Oh yeah, because
Anybody who
we all
does
guessed that.
anything.
We all were
Yeah.
saying it's going to be Luke. We said it'll be Luke.
He's the
It'll
only
be
act-
Ezra, or it'll be like someone else. And we're
Yeah.
like, that's it. That's the only people that could be.
so I don't know if it'll be
With-
strange. I don't know who else could
this,
be
I don't know who
where
else-
it's going to be time traveling or
I-
Captain
other
Marvel.
realms.
Did I
Captain
tell you my
Marvel could
theory
be
yet?
because of Monica Rambeau connection.
I'm sorry, what?
Did I tell you my theory yet? We did a
No.
Ernie forced me to do a TikTok about it. I don't know if I remember it verbatim necessarily, but it goes. Thanks for just derailing me. I'll just
Keep going. Ignore the dumb idiot.
basically so there's a single Marvel villain I believe right now who is just kind of in the ether, hasn't done anything, and that's Baron Mordo. Because at the end of Doctor Strange, he like steals the magic out of that guy's body, and the guy reverts back to being a cripple, and he's like, I don't want any more sorcerers. Basically, at the end of the movie. So my idea was, what if Baron Mordo convinced and told Agatha Harkness about Scarlet Witch, and then basically tricked Agatha into being like, okay, I can take on this Scarlet Witch, and Agatha is going to basically prompt Scarlet Witch into just being like, fuck this whole magic shit, and she just wishes away magic, and then Baron Mordo gets what he wants. Nobody's got magic, and then Doctor Strange has got to spend the next multiverse of madness trying to correct the whole.
But he doesn't
universe.
have magic then. If magic's gone, Doctor
Like I
Strange
said,
is
if
it.
anybody's allowed to be the lone exception to that, it's the fucking Sorcerer Supreme with
he
the eye
doesn't
of-
have magic. The eye is just the eye. I think
Doesn't mean
did
he also can't.
Did
he
it
can't
lose
go to
power
people.
when it lost the gem though?
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Because I hate that they mixed those together. It
Yeah,
was stupid.
agreed. I think it's kind of cool up until the point where
But
now
see,
the
the
gem's
Baron-
gone, and what does it mean anymore?
Baron Mordo showing up wouldn't be like, oh shit, we're gonna have like a.
I don't know if he'll show
Dude,
up.
I watch people. It's actually embarrassing. I'm sorry for anyone out there, but I'm embarrassed for people that were crying when they saw Luke Skywalker.
Don't hit the table.
They were crying, and I was just like, it's cool, but it wasn't like I've been waiting for this my whole life, and it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Or if they're wanting a moment like that, I don't know who they can bring in that can do that.
I'm not
Like
saying.
I said,
I'm
Captain
not
Marvel,
saying.
I think, is
by
on
the
the
way,
books because Spectrum.
I'm not saying Baron Mordo's that reveal. I'm just saying there could just be a chance.
He's gonna be
That after the credits-
He's gonna be in Doctor Strange. So
He's also confirmed to be in Shang-Chi, I think. Which I don't know when that movie takes place in the universe.
It's going to be
though.
a Sentinel.
You wish. Dude, what if
That'd be
what
so
if the
crazy.
vision was like Sentinel Project 1, like on the computer? They were like, okay, this is the Sentinel Project 1.
And it's just like whole mutant to Scarlet Witch, and we're like, mutants exist.
What? And then Magneto comes and he tears them apart, and he's like,
That's what I was
"Come with
actually
me, Scarlet
thinking.
Witch."
Magneto would
Is
be
that
so
when she was
good.
going back in time, because she was like, "Oh, I knew it. I thought it was gonna be the whole Scarlet Witch thing, or she is like, you are a mutant. You are not from this reality. At some point, you warped yourself into this.
I don't think it's the case because we see her when
Because
she's
that,
really
I mean, I
young.
feel, yeah. Well, I'm just saying because if you could even warp as you're really, really young, then your whole reality is whatever this reality, but you switched bodies or you jumped into the other universe.
Yeah.
Where now you came from a world of mutants.
Well,
but
I think she's
that's
the-
far fetched.
They're thinking
Yeah.
if they're gonna do mutants, that's what's gonna happen. Is
Yeah.
Scarlet got her powers early, and Spectrum got her powers early, so she could be a mutant.
Spectrum?
as well.
Photon?
Photon. She has like 3 different names. She's Spectrum, Photon, she's
Cat
in Miss
Marvel, or
I think she's Cat Marvel. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're right.
I just think that because we've argued back and forth about mutants all the time. I think it's a bad idea. I think using her to bring mutants over is a bad idea.
I think if they hinted at this, I'm fine because I think they'll slowly just start hitting it.
Yeah.
I think she's easily the singular X-Men character you can retcon out of the X-Men. You could just easily say she's not a mutant. That's easy.
Yeah, they did in the comics.
That's what I'm saying. So why does she have to do necessary?
Because she alters reality.
Yeah, but why does she have to be the one to bring up the mutants? Why?
Because she is the strongest.
But
fucking
yes,
mutants
but that's
could be existing in a whole other reality.
But just bring. I don't want to beat this dead horse. I think I've explained it enough why I don't think it would work. But just to snap and bring over mutants like that causes a whole hell of a lot of continuity.
I don't think
issues.
it does.
I think it does.
If they're coming from a different reality where they've already lived and already gone through that,
and then they bring them over here, and then what? Then people hate them?
No,
I mean, sure.
Is that because they're native to the world, or is that because they're not native to the world? Like, what is the reason they don't like the mutants?
What's probably going to happen is it could be something like that where they switched them up.
Or Magneto.
And, all these guys.
As soon as they come, Magneto comes looking for a fight.
Why would he come looking inherently?
Because he believes they're homo superior. He believes they're better than them. Maybe he felt in his other multiverse.
First off, it depends on which Magneto we're talking about. Because not all Magnetos are violent. Hashtag not all Magnetos.
Every Magneto.
No, not every Magneto.
By any means.
No, as many times he's been an X-Men.
He still has the same thought process.
Yeah, but so does Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
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 So you could be a good guy and murder people. I'm not saying you can't be a good guy and murder people. He's just like, when he's part of the X-Men
against bad guys. Magneto does it for
when he's part of the X-Men. He just tears apart innocent people.
I mean, I think he has.
Wouldn't surprise me. I think a way for them, going back to that, I think I've stated this before, but I think a way for them to do it is that, like, yeah, you snap your fingers and then they blend realities where it was like this was a singular reality anyways.
Yeah, how do you do that?
You literally snap your fingers and boom, it's fucking there. Because as far
that's the only way you can ever bring X-Men.
That's the only way to do that.
So you have to retcon the entirety history of the Marvel universe.
How are you retconning everything?
You have to add the mutants back in if you're going to combine.
If you're upset about that, then you'd be upset about everything Captain America did.
I'm not upset. What are you talking about?
Because he went and did all kinds of retconning.
He just returned the gems. We literally know nothing about that. You can't claim that at all.
No,
the only
not supposed to be doing that.
Though.
But that's a timeline issue, not a universe issue. That's him messing with the timeline, though that may cause multiverses or whatever.
They said that, like what the Ancient One said, every time he did that, he broke it and made different timelines.
And then Mark Ruffalo was like, "What if we put it back at the exact moment?" Then she was like, "Oh, then it won't create the divert timeline."
They said it was gonna anyways because the old Cap that came back at the end, he wasn't from their time.
Well, that's his fault. That's what I'm saying. Cap was a selfish asshole, basically. He could have fucked up the whole
That
timeline.
Cap wasn't from their time, basically, they're saying. That old Cap is from a different timeline. Because our Cap is going through time traveling.
Not forever.
I mean...
And also, time travel can happen in a matter of a second to us, right?
Right.
I could spend if I had time travel, I could spend an hour in 1969, then come back a second after, and you guys wouldn't even fucking notice.
I'm just saying there's no other way to bring the X-Men in.
I think there is. I think that the ability for Xavier to wipe all of humanity's memories is a very thing. I think the existence of the Savage Land is a thing. I think that...
They all just been hiding somewhere on the planet, and Fury never knew about this?
Yeah, because you can't... You think Fury is exploring the Savage Land? Think if the Savage Land is a concept in the Marvel Universe, that Fury has the ability to explore that? You think Fury knows everything about the entire universe?
Captain Marvel.
Who?
Fury. He's worked with some deep, deep shit.
Yeah, but not like space time altering subspaces in Antarctica. Not this primordial land of dinosaurs where the mutants have had deep connections with multiple times, where Magneto is left and sought like his own.
I just don't know how you keep all these people in
There's not that many mutants.
One place. There's a ton of mutants. How do you keep them all in one place?
There's like maybe...
And say you can't go
200 mutants is not a lot of mutants. That's a tiny portion of the population. If we're even considering
200 mutants, it was what was left when she said no more mutants.
Okay, 300 mutants, not that many mutants. 4,000 mutants is not that many mutants. 100,000 mutants is not that many mutants. When you're looking at the general population of the entire world, look at the percentage basis of population that might be mutants.
How many mutants were in that world in the X-Men? Did they ever say how many mutants there were?
It's a small portion of the population. I believe it's because it's supposed to be analogous to any modern American minority. Yeah. So it's a small portion of the population. It's not a large, and that's why they're a discriminated against powerful minority.
Because if not, you think people wouldn't see him.
Yeah, but it's like
There's 32 million.
32 million out of 7 billion people on the planet.
Genosha's population was about Genosha's near the Savage Land was about 16 million,
Yeah, it could be in Genosha.
and the news reports that contained over half of the mutant population, which means that there's 32 million altogether.
So there's 32 million.
32 million. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially what comic it took it from.
like I said, I just think there are
But
more
I mean,
creative ways to bring it
that's
more. You think
comics, so you could go differently.
that's what I'm saying is like, I don't think that the idea that that Xavier has the capacity to brain wipe the entire population of the Earth is really impossible, right? They are 0.0045% of the population. No, sorry, they are 0.45% of the population. I take that back because I have to change it to percentages.
Was that what you were trying
Yeah.
to figure out?
Yeah.
Calculator.
You just take 32 million divided by 7 billion. It's a
Really?
rough estimate.
Really?
Really. It's crazy,
Holy
right?
shit. It's not like I actually know math.
Well, that was in the new X-Men number 115.
Okay. So, yeah, there's a real possibility that... And the Marvel Universe doesn't have to have 32 million mutants, because obviously those 32 million mutants came off of like generations, like I said. There's a real possibility that Professor Xavier does possess the power to wipe the memory of the entire Earth, right? And
when would he have done that?
basically, you could have... My thought process is sort of how Magneto was, as being a Jewish character, was persecuted by the Germans, correct? And that during that time, which Professor Xavier and him both existed, they took a small group of mutants and looked at the persecution of them at that time and thought this was the solution. And here's my other thought, that if this population has existed in the Savage Land, is growing, it's running out of space, right? And Magneto, being the homo superior guy he is, that he thinks that maybe they reserve the right to inherit the Earth, right? So then the whole conflict is they come back out because Magneto wants to reclaim the Earth. And then maybe Professor Xavier snaps everybody out of this sort of fog, right? And the whole world sort of clicks and
I think
realizes
something would have to happen to Professor X to where it unlocks it. Like he gets in a coma or some shit.
Or like he has to be at 100% awareness at all times to maintain it. So he's like kind of like a brain
He's
dead
attacked,
zombie.
and once he gets attacked, he loses that.
Or maybe
hold or whatever.
Magneto wakes him up in order to, or Magneto causes it in order to basically show the world mutants again and have the world reel back in chaos while he
I want to
proceeds
say the
take
White
over.
Queen did something like, or Emma did that.
Shit,
recently.
imagine Professor X showing up.
That's what I'm saying, man. There's a real possibility that this isn't a multiverse situation. We could just get them in the Savage Land. Just saying. That's
James
my
McAvoy just
thought.
rolling up.
You know what? Considering how fucked this whole timeline is, with everything that
I think that's-
literally legitimately makes no sense, it doesn't matter what the fuck they do. It won't make a whole lot of shit
I just don't want
sense.
to lose history.
I
to
think they
X-Men,
fucked
that's
up
all.
the timeline in one movie. I don't think they just,
The last movie really jacked up what technically could
sucks.
physically be possible through that whole
I love
thing.
that movie, dude.
But
It's
time
such a
travel's
good
hard to
movie.
write, period.
But,
Right?
Huh?
Time travel's hard to write, period, right?
yeah, I think so.
Kinda.
It's too many loopholes.
Because even
with how
Back to the Future gets it wrong, and
it's because
you know.
we don't know a whole lot, but you can at least state how Endgame ended. There's no way that reality would have ended the way it did, based upon the actions of what they did after they did that, after they fought.
What do you mean?
Because this was after Thanos. Thanos went into the future, correct?
Yeah.
So that means that he did that before he snapped his fingers.
Yes.
So technically, he didn't snap his fingers.
Yes.
So then, in that reality that he left,
If we're
that reality didn't technically snap the fingers. So that even when they went back in time, they're not changing any reality. They're still in the same reality. They're just in the same fucking reality.
my thought process is maybe they're just using as timelines. Each individual timeline is just its own reality.
That's what I've thought
they're
as
just
well.
pulling gems out of other
Is that
realities.
is that the moment you start time
branches.
traveling is that you are technically creating a new
But
a new universe, new reality, new entity, just in general.
I mean, in this universe, maybe. But like I said, we don't know how time travel works.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, that last movie made it go, how did that, any of that actually technically work? It wouldn't have.
I think the best example of time travel, period, in any media source, in my opinion, is Futurama's interpretation of time travel, because they got two. They have the paradox correcting time travel, where if you go back even yourself, at a certain point, some sort of Murphy's Law event will kill that other person, or you can only move forward in time.
Or Family Guy, you merge with yourself.
No.
Or you got the ending of Futurama Paradox, where the only you're back in time is you reliving your whole life again. You won't remember
you just
shit.
you just go back in your own body.
Talking about that,
the Dark Horses.
Talking about that shit, I love how Futurama ended. I think that was a good way to end that series. There's no other way to end it other than, okay, time travel. That's how we end it. You go back and you restart all this.
They should make another season. Just saying.
And they start over from the
first episode again. But everybody's slightly different.
Yeah,
it's Bender.
I guess.
No, what is it?
Dark Horses are
folding Rodriguez. Folding Rodriguez.
Professor X and Magneto.
I think it would be really, really cool.
Doctor Strange seems too obvious.
It's too obvious, and I don't see a point.
Luke was oops, I was really close to the mic there. The Luke was obvious, right?
Luke was obvious, but they did it. So again, Doctor Strange may be obvious, and they do him too. It's gonna be exciting.
Excited.
We're gonna stay up late.
Maybe.
I wish we had pajamas.
Maybe I may not. Just
why? I told all you guys.
Son's at home.
Yeah.
Oh, is he gonna be here this whole week?
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, I guess it'll be just me.
Yeah, you and Declan?
No, I'm kidding. I'll come out.
And Declan was like, "Yeah, like he has a son at home." When you said that.
I have a daughter at home.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hello, little girl.
Well, you got to make it creepy.
Because that's what his buddy says all the time.
Because that's how my boy makes it creepy, and Ernie just loves that. So he started
weird,
adopting
but
it.
it's funny.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Well,
that's a podcast?
That's a podcast. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Catch you guys next time. Be sure to click if you're on YouTube.
Click like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon.
Why can't you ever sound excited?
Hey guys, you burned me out by the end.
You're really far from the mic too.
Oh, yay! Thank you guys for watching.
You burned me out by the end of this. It's a lot of work, man. A lot of work, man.
It's not that much work.
You're just a bitch.
We got a lot of work to get ahead. And I said, make sure they share, whatever it is. They're on YouTube. If you're listening to this
follow
on pod or any kind of podcast, whatever, if you're on YouTube. And check out us on social media and all kinds of stuff. We're everywhere.
At Best There Is Entertainment, right? You can search Best There Is Entertainment and
it'll pop up.
Should I plug my personal Twitter too?
We're going to
get some clout.
I don't know. Maybe make a website. They're talking to me today about it, but I'll talk to you guys later about that. But yeah, we'll see.
That's a podcast.
That's a podcast.
That's a podcast.